What is knitting? As you may remember from the last episode, knitting is one craft in the crazy fiber arts world that can be used to produce fabric. According to Wikipedia, knitting is, quote, a method by which thread or yarn may be turned into cloth, end quote, using a series of looped stitches. Do you remember reading Dickens' Tale of Two Cities? Who could forget Madame Defarge sitting in the corner of the wine shop, knitting? Other than vague memories of my grandmother's knitting, this is my first real exposure to knitting. It can be done by hand or by machine. Hand knitting can be done on different styles of needles. There are knitting machines available for the home knitter or for industrial applications. You may be wearing machine knit socks that you bought from the store down the road. At this point, you may be wondering where knitting came from. The answer is that no one knows for sure. Julie Thieker, in an article in the spring 2006 issue of Knitty.com, which is an online knitting magazine, says that there wasn't a word in the English language that meant to knit until the 1400s, but that there are a few fragments of knitted items from that period, and that she says there's, quote, a lot of speculation, end quote, as to where knitting originated. It is thought that a craft called nail binding was used to make stretchy fabric prior to knitting, but no one knows for sure.
Knitting is a very fun project for people all around the world. It is a very good hobby of mine, and I have knitted a couple of things before. One thing I knitted was a small square cloth with tassels at each point of the square. The top portion of the square is light pink, and the bottom is a bit of a dark pink. You can make anything you want by knitting, scarves, hats, dolls, and many other things. I learned how to knit when I was 9 years old. There are many knitting patterns to try, like the garter stitch, the stockinette stitch, the basket stitch, and lots of other patterns. I wanted to learn to knit ever since I was 8 years old. It may be difficult at first, but with practice, you can know how to knit and then become an experienced knitter. The materials you need to knit are knitting needles, yarn, and a yarn needle. Knitting is very useful too.